Well, hi there. This is Geraldine Ryan Loach, Dini Dishes, and I've been around for a while. However, I'm back, at least for a while anyway. Today I'm going to dish about the coming of fall. I don't know, just a bit of everything. Whatever comes to my mind, actually. Like I think I mentioned something in the heading to this video that I like fall. It's my favorite time of year. We've had a really hot summer here, and I'm looking forward to some cooler temperatures, to be honest. And the things that fall brings, the fall fairs, and of course Halloween, which is probably why I have this hat on today, just for a bit of fun. Anyway, this marks, well, what's today, 29th? In a couple of days it marks the end of the month of August, and the Turner Classic Movies Summer Under the Stars, which I just love. I love that channel, and the weekend, one night, I think it was Friday night, like, I was only going to watch, like, maybe an hour of TV and hopefully one of the movies. And it came on with this amazing documentary narrated by Christopher Plummer. And it was all about the making of Gone with the Wind. And it was absolutely phenomenal. I was totally blown away by it, the making of that iconic film and timeless film. It just never goes out of style, and it was absolutely fantastic. The making of this movie in the late 1930s, because it was a few years in the making before it even became the movie. It's, if you ever get a chance to look at it or find it, maybe it's on YouTube, I don't know. But it's captivating, and David Selznick was absolutely, he had such vision and faith in himself, and believe me, he wasn't going to let anybody deter him from his dream, and he pulled out all the stops to make that come true, and independently, without Hollywood funding and so on, without the big guys, coming up with the cash or giving him the cash. He found ways of making it happen, and it was just unbelievable. And what I found so fascinating with that, he used to, when you see all these mansions in the film of the old South and everything, they're so beautiful, unique, and just unbelievable. So he didn't have the budget to go out and get all these places or pay for all these places, whatever. So he would just get some kind of composites, some kind of pictures, paintings, whatever, and he would just blend them into the background. And when you see the movie, you'll never dream that a lot of the gorgeous backdrops and architecture, the absolutely beautiful architecture, was all just pieces that were just pieced together in a back lot somewhere on the studio sets. And just when they were editing the movie and so on, they would just weave these into the background, and it was just unbelievable. All the information, all the old clips of all the stars, amazing clips of the author of the book, Margaret Mitchell. I'd only seen maybe one or two at the most pictures of her. There were all kinds of pictures of her and little videos of her and so on like that. So if you ever get a chance to see it somewhere, watch it, because you won't be able to take your eyes off it. And then just when that was over, and I said, oh my God, it was 2 hours, but wow, was it worth it? I was just going to go up and get up and do something else or whatever, And then the movie itself comes on, Gone with the Wind, comes on just after the background, this great documentary that they show. So of course I had to sit down and watch Gone with the Wind. So it happened to be Vivian Leigh Day, and then when that was over, what did they put on but Waterloo Bridge? She and Robert Taylor in this very sad story. It was very sad, but so beautifully done. So I'm a Turner Classic Movies addict, actually, and God bless Ted Turner, because that station, that on TV is on cable is unbelievable, and unbelievable entertainment. It's not just for seniors, which I am, but it's not just for seniors. I've talked to young people in their 20s and 30s that can't get enough of Turner Classic Movies. And the beauty of it is too that it's ad free, it's advertising free, and unedited. So you get to see all these movies, all these films, in the raw before any editing was done to them. So you see all these things that, oh wow, look what he's doing there, or wow, look at the way he's looking at her there, or something that's really catch your eye, like you wonder about it, and sometimes a little bit kind of indecent or a little bit improper or whatever. You say, wow, they were, I was supposed to be allowed to do that, right? So, well, it was all before the editing, so it's an amazing station. So, and like I think last night was Cary Grant. That was on all day yesterday, but I didn't get to see it all. But I did see Houseboats, and he and Sophie Loren. This was made after they had like this torrid affair the year before, making The Pride and the Passion. And of course Cary Grant was absolutely insanely in love with Sophie Loren, particularly when they were making this Pride and the Passion. So he was still pretty bowled over in this movie Houseboat. I mean, you could see it, like in them in that movie. I mean, you could see some of the tension between them, and the romantic, way they had for each other, and of course she turned him down, but he was madly in love with her. So Cary Grant is another actor which I really admire, because he's not just a dapper dude. He's so flexible, and so he has such range in his talents. I've seen movies where you crack up laughing at him, and movies where you cry with the depth of the characters he played, like like his little girl dying of pneumonia and things like that. I mean, he was an amazing actor, and Spencer Tracy, two absolutely fantastic actors. I mean, they could act. Clark Gable, who was in Gone with the Wind, I love Clark Gable. Clark Gable was one of the most charming movie stars of all time, but Clark Gable could not, I don't know, he couldn't bring the real depth of character to his roles. When you see roles with Clark Gable in them, you're seeing Clark Gable as himself. You're not really seeing who he's supposed to be playing. So as much as sweet as he was and everything else, to me he never had that depth that would have made real talent as an actor. So anyway, I'm kind of every time the month of August comes to an end, summer of the stars. So well, fall is coming, but I'm not going to see Summer of the Stars anymore until next year. So you see all kinds of great movies. I do tape a lot of them, but Summer of the Stars is day and night, So it's all around entertainment. So anyway, with fall coming, of course I love Halloween, which is why I got this on, like I already said, and hopefully there'll be some activities I'll be involved in and so on, and of course I guess a lot of you know that I write books, and 4 of my books here that I have here are paranormal works, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to read a little bit today or what I'm going to do. So I may read part of something. I don't want to make this too long. I don't want to, make it too long. So I may read, I don't know, I may just read part of, this one was one of the most popular. They're all true stories. They're all true stories of Newfoundland and Labrador. which is 500 years old, and it's steeped in a lot of paranormal tradition. But oh, my head is falling off. um, these are stories that everyday stories. Actually, a lot of them are everyday stories. You know, like they're old or new, they're contemporary, and they really happen to people. And I collected them in 2 collections, with this one, which is the first collection, and this one here, which is the second collection, which are all brand new stories. So one of the most popular stories is the one about a morgue. A morgue, which it was in a building where there's a production plant right now, but in actual fact it was a morgue during the Second World War. So the people at this production plant for years have been seeing apparitions and all kinds of noises and crazy things going ahead. So this man who worked there, he was seeing the same soldiers all the time, the same one in particular. So it got to the point where it got to him so much that he managed to overcome his horror and fear. You know, I mean, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, he would be doing a job at this plant. He was an engineer or millwright or something. So he'd be doing a job at this plant, and he would see he would see this same soldier all the time. So he took it upon himself to find out who this soldier was, or try to find out, and that's one of the most popular stories. Like, this place used to be a morgue, so back in the 1940s. So the workers don't want to talk too much about it because it would interfere with their jobs. So it's very fascinating, and a lot of the times that's why people don't divulge too much about their paranormal experiences, because people think they're crazy, or it impacts upon their employment or something like that. So that's what happened in this book. But anyway, he had the courage to try and find out who this person was. So I'll leave it to you to find out if indeed he does get to the bottom of the mystery. And there's other fantastic stories in it about the used car. I mean, with the economy the way it is now, I would say a goodly number of people could be buying a used car. Nothing wrong with used cars. So if you're smart enough to get the right one and so on. But there's a story in this called The Used Car Ghost. The only thing is you got to make sure that who previously owned the car. Guys goes to buy a used car and it was haunted. So these are true stories. So anyway, they're all available. They're available everywhere. So if you're interested in the paranormal and ghostly happenings, check them out. This Handing in Hand, this one is a fictionalized account of an experience that I didn't have it myself, but a family friend that visits the house quite often. It happened to him. This nice man. He wasn't really elderly at that time, but he was a senior, and I was just only a small child. So, but he was a friend of Dad's, my father's, and a friend of the family. So he used to come to the house all the time, tell stories, and he was a good friend. So, this had happened to him when he was only like, I don't know, a young man, maybe 18, 20 years old. And they were out doing some logging and in this isolated place, and a terrible shipwreck had happened a year before that. So they weren't supposed to be in that area because a lot of people had died there. But they laughed it off and they went there anyway, and terrible, terrible, terrible things that happened to him. In fact, it was classed as an exorcism that happened to this man. And of course, when I heard it when I was a young child, I didn't even realize that's what it was. It horrified me, but I didn't realize that's what it was. And then after I've written so many books, after I became an adult, which back in 2013, I think, I wrote this one, I started thinking about this story that I had heard, and I said, wow, that was really something. So I said, I wonder if I try to put that to a novel and fictionalize, build around his experience, but fictionalize, use some more characters and build on it and make it into a horror story. And I started writing it, and I couldn't stop. I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. I could hardly get away from the book until I had finished it. I could hardly get away from the manuscript until I had finished it. It seemed like it wrote itself. And anyway, it got published, and today it's praised as, or being compared to, stories like The Uninvited, like films like that, stories like that. So, and it was something that just grew out of an experience or a story that I had heard from a family friend. And so this is the first edition. Then, because people were inquiring about a character in this story, a woman, or I should say a ghost lady, sorry, that kept coming back all the time, and people were seeing her and so on in this story. They wondered about her, so she was really creepy too. So she used to come up from the floorboards, and they used to see her in the bathtub and in the old house and things like that. So I said, well, maybe I should do something about her now and see what I can come up with why she's coming back. So I decided I would make her a talking figure, a talking ghost, and I solved the mystery of why she kept it. She was around. Who was she? So then I just put out this one in this new edition and extended the story. And this is an extended version of this one. It's called Hannigan's Hand, The Ghost Woman Talks. So it's pretty well the same story, but it's an expanded edition of this book, Hannigan's Hand. So these are the 4 paranormal works I've done so far. Two of these are all true stories of ghost stories of Newfoundland and Labrador. All true. And this one came out last year. So, and these are the novels that I developed and wrote from a real childhood story of my family back so many decades ago. So anyways, I hope you had a nice fall, and I'll be doing more videos anyway, so I'll be talking to you again, but I thank you for tuning in, and I just recently fixed the subscribe button on my channel. There wasn't even a subscribe button there, so I didn't really care. I wasn't too obsessed with people subscribing. I like for people to look at my videos. I like to interact with people. It's not a big obsessed thing with me that people are going to just hit subscribe, hit like, hit subscribe. Nah, it's nice if you want to do it, but I'm not going to come on here and say, oh, don't forget to subscribe. No, it's okay, really. I'm not on there for that. So, but I mean, like I said, if you enjoy the videos, and you could certainly make a comment or something that you enjoyed them and things like that. That would be nice. So anyway, I really do enjoy talking to you, and I'm glad you tuned in. And Shout out to all my American friends. You're great guys. You're great people. I have to say, you're friendly, you're positive, you're supportive, and I just love you all. So thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.